அதான் என்னோட பெர்ஸ்பெக்டிவில் கான் ஆர் த டேஸ் நம்ம வந்து கிளைண்ட்ஸ்க்கு வந்து டிசைனை எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணுங்கிறதுல என்னென்னா இப்போ எல்லாருமே வந்து அந்த கூகுள்ங்கிறத இன்டர்நெட் இதுக்கப்புறம் எல்லாருக்குமே என்ன டிசைன் வேணுங்கிறது they have in the mind. Only thing is how good are you in translating into reality within the budget they have and within the time frame they have and with the quality they have. ஏன்னா இந்த எக்ஸிக்யூஷன் யார் வேணால் பண்ணிடலாம், ஒரு சிவில் இன்ஜினியர் கூட பண்ணிடலாம், ஒரு சாதாரண பர்சன் கூட பண்ணிடலாம். பட் வேர் யூ மேக் அஸ் டிஃப்ரெண்ட் ஆர்கிடெக்ட் வித் ப்ராஜெக்ட் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் ஸ்கில் தான், யூ நோ ஹவு டு டிசைன் இட் அண்ட் யூ நோ ஹவு டு பிரிங் இட் இன் டு ரியாலிட்டி. வணக்கம், என்னோட பேர் ராஜலக்ஷ்மி செல்வராஜ். நான் வந்து பிஆர்க் டிகிரி வந்து பெரியார் மணியம் இன்ஸ்டியூட்டில் பண்ணேன். அதுக்கப்புறம் ஒரு 8 இயர்ஸ் இண்டஸ்ட்ரியில் ஒர்க் பண்ணிவிட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் என்ன படிக்கலான்னு யோசித்தேன். அப்போ வந்து ஐ ஃபெல்ட் அப்போ ஒரு எக்ஸ்ப்ளோரிங்கான டைம் கிடைக்கும் போது எது பெஸ்ட் டு ஸ்டடி அப்படின்னு பார்க்கும்போது சம்திங் ரிலேட்டட் டு சைட் வாஸ் ஒன் which was not taught in the college, which I had to do it in the industry ன்னு தெரிஞ்சுது. ஸோ அப்போ வந்து என்ன ஸ்ட்ரீம் நல்லா இருக்கும்னு யோசிச்சு பார்க்கும்போது ப்ராஜெக்ட் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் வாஸ் அ ரைட் திங் எனக்கு படிக்கணும்னு தோணுது. ஸோ நான் ஏன்னா நம்ம இண்டஸ்ட்ரியில் ப்ராக்டிஸும் பண்ணிகிட்டு இருக்கும்போது ப்ராஜெக்ட் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் படிக்கும்போது நல்லா இருக்கணும். ஸோ அண்ட் when I got into that, and that's a good decision I made, I personally I would say, because learning project management டிகிரி மாஸ்டர்ஸில் படிக்கிறது வந்து எனக்கு அந்த அப்போ இருந்தது மாத்திரம் இல்லாமல் அந்த ஆஃப்டர் கம்ப்ளீஷன் அந்த டைமென்ஷனே டோட்டலி சேஞ்ச் ஆயிடுச்சு. லேர்ன் அபவுட் இட்ஸ் நாட் தட் நம்ம சைட்டில் இது படிப்போம், பட் வி மே நோ வாட் ஆர் த ஸ்டேஜஸ் ஆர்கிடெக்சர் ப்ராசஸில் தெரியும் நம்மளுக்கு. எக்ஸிக்யூஷன் ரூஃபில் வந்து என்னென்ன ஃபவுண்டேஷனு ரூஃப் அதெல்லாமே தெரியும் நம்மளுக்கு. பட் ஆக்சுவலி தெர் இஸ் அ டெர்மினாலஜி வேர் வில் பி டூயிங் ப்ரீ டிசைன் டியூரிங் எக்ஸிக்யூஷன், போஸ்ட் எக்ஸிக்யூஷன் அப்படிங்கிற ஃபேஸஸ் இருக்குது. பிகாஸ் எவ்ரி ஸ்டேஜ் ப்ராஜெக்ட் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட்டில் என்னென்னா யூ ஹேவ் டு பி மோர் டிசிப்ளின் அண்ட் யூ ஹேவ் டு பி ப்ராப்பர்லி ஸ்ட்ரீம்லைன்ட். ஏன்னா யூ ஆர் த ஒன் ஹூ ஆர் கோயிங் டு டேக் த என்டையர் சேரியட் வித் யூ, ப்ரீ டிசைன் அண்ட் டியூரிங் டிசைன் அண்ட் போஸ்ட் டிசைன். ஸோ எவ்ரி ஸ்டேஜில் வந்து நம்ம ஒரு ப்ராஜெக்ட் மேனேஜரை வந்து நம்ம எவ்ரி ஸ்டேஜில் வந்து ஆர்கிடெக்டை மாத்திரம் இருந்தால் பத்தாது. அந்த இடத்துல ஆர்கிடெக்ட் அண்ட் ப்ராஜெக்ட் மேனேஜராக இருக்கும்போது லைக் ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் when you design அந்த ஒரு மெட்டீரியல் நம்ம வந்து சஜஸ்ட் வி நோ த பட்ஜெட் ஆஃப் த கிளைண்ட் இல்லைங்களா. மெனி ப்ராப்ளம் எங்கே வரும்னா நம்ம ஒரு டிசைனை ஃப்ரீஸ் பண்ணாமல் முடியாமல் பிரச்சனை வரதே நம்ம வந்து அந்த ஒரு மெட்டீரியல் காஸ்டிங்கில் தான் வந்து நிற்கும் எப்பயுமே. இப்போ ஒரு ப்ராஜெக்ட் மேனேஜராக இருந்தால் யூ வில் நோ த டிஃப்ரெண்ட் காஸ்டிங் ஆஃப் த மெட்டீரியல்ஸ், யூ நோ த டைம் லைன். நம்ம ஒரு புதுசாக ஒரு டெக்னாலஜி சொல்லுவோம், பட் தட் மேபி டைம் க்ரூஷியல் ப்ராஜெக்டாக இருக்கலாம் அந்த இடத்துல. ஸோ அப்போ அந்த இடத்துக்கு அந்த டெக்னாலஜிக்கு அது ஒத்து வருமா? ஸோ லாஜிக்கலி ஹவு டு புட் இட் அக்ராஸ், எது தேவை எது தேவையில்லை அப்படிங்கிறத அனலைஸ் பண்ணி எவ்ரி ஸ்டேஜில். ஸோ பி இட் ஸ்டார்டிங் ஃப்ரம் த ப்ரிப்பேரிங் த பட்ஜெட்டில் இருந்துட்டு நெக்ஸ்ட் வந்து அதை எக்ஸிக்யூஷன் பார்ட் பண்ணும்போது அந்த பட்ஜெட்டை விட்டு தாண்டாமல் பண்ணணும். தட் இஸ் அகெயின் அ பிகஸ்ட் சேலஞ்ச். ஏன்னா வித் த ரைஸ் ஆஃப் மெட்டீரியல்ஸ் எல்லாமே வந்து பார்த்திங்கன்னா பட்ஜெட்டும் போகக்கூடாது, டைமும் நம்ம ஒரு டைம் லைன் ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்ணிட்டோம்னா அதை தாண்டி போகக்கூடாது. ஏன்னா எவ்ரி திங் வுட் ஹவ் பீன் பிளான்ட் அரவுண்ட் ஆல் தீஸ் திங். ஸோ அண்ட் வித் த குவாலிட்டி, மெயின்டைனிங் எ குவாலிட்டி இஸ் ஆல்சோ வெரி வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். ஸோ இந்த 3 இதையும் யூஸ் பண்ணி ப்ராப்பராக கொண்டு போகிறது வந்து ப்ராஜெக்ட் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட். அது வந்து இட் டசன் எண்ட் ஒன்லி வித் கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன். நீங்கள் முடிச்சு கொடுத்து நிறைய பேர் வந்து இந்த ஆஸ்பிள் ட்ராயிங்னு ஒரு ட்ராயிங்கை பண்ணுறதே இல்லை ஆஸ் அன் ஆர்கிடெக்ட். பட் ஆஸ் அன் ஆர்கிடெக்ட் இஸ் யோர் திங், யூ ஹேவ் டு மேக் அன் ஆஸ்பிள் ட்ராயிங். பிகாஸ் நம்மளுக்கே தெரியும் நம்ம டிசைன் பண்ணதை வந்து அப்படியே அங்கே பண்ணியிருக்க மாட்டாங்க, எனி சர்வீசஸ் ஆர் வாட் எவர். ஸோ ஆஸ் அன் ஆர்கிடெக்ட் ஆஸ் அ ப்ராஜெக்ட் மேனேஜர் வே டு மேக் ஷூர் தட் அந்த ஆஸ்பிள் ட்ராயிங் இஸ் பீன் மேட் அண்ட் இட்ஸ் கிவன் டு த கிளைண்ட். ஏன்னா அந்த ஒரு 10 வருஷம் கழிச்சு ஒரு ப்ராப்ளம் வருது அப்படின்னா தட் வுட் பி த கீ வேர் தே வில் ரெஃபர். சர்வீசஸ் இப்போ ஃபால் சீலிங் எல்லாம் போட்டு க்ளோஸ் பண்ணியிருப்போம், மேலே என்ன போகுதுன்னு யாருக்குமே தெரியாது. நாளைக்கு வந்து ஒரு சின்ன இஷ்யூவாக இருக்கும், அதுக்கு வந்து என்டையர் ஃபால் சீலிங்கை ஸ்க்ராப் பண்ணி இந்த என்டையர் ஆப்ரேஷன் கோ இன்டு அ திங் இல்லையா. பட் அதுக்கே ஒரு ஆஸ்பிள் ட்ராயிங் இருந்தது அப்படின்னா தே வில் நோ டு ரீட் த ட்ராயிங் அண்ட் தே வில் நோ வாட் எக்ஸாக்ட்லி இட் வுட் பி. ஸோ ஆஸ்பிள் ட்ராயிங் அந்த ஹேண்டிங் ஒரு செட் ஆஃப் டாக்குமெண்ட்ஸ் கொடுக்குற வரைக்கும் இந்த ப்ராஜெக்ட் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் பிளேஸ் நாட் ஒன்லி டியூரிங் எக்ஸிக்யூஷன், இட் ஸ்டார்ட்ஸ் ஃப்ரம் ப்ரீ டிசைன்லேருந்து ஆரம்பிக்கும் உங்களுக்கு. அதான் என்னோட பெர்ஸ்பெக்டிவில் கான் ஆர் த டேஸ் நம்ம வந்து கிளைண்ட்ஸ்க்கு வந்து டிசைனை எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணுங்கிறதுல என்னென்னா இப்போ எல்லாருமே வந்து அந்த கூகுள்ங்கிறத இன்டர்நெட் இதுக்கப்புறம் எல்லாருக்குமே என்ன டிசைன் வேணுங்கிறத they have in the mind. Only thing is how good are you in translating into reality within the budget they have and within the time frame they have and with the quality they have. ஏன்னா இந்த எக்ஸிக்யூஷன் யார் வேணால் பண்ணிடலாம், ஒரு சிவில் இன்ஜினியர் கூட பண்ணிடலாம், ஒரு சாதாரண பர்சன் கூட பண்ணிடலாம். பட் வேர் யூ மேக் அஸ் டிஃப்ரெண்ட் ஆர்கிடெக்ட் வித் ப்ராஜெக்ட் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் ஸ்கில் தான், யூ நோ ஹவு டு டிசைன் இட் அண்ட் யூ நோ ஹவு டு பிரிங் இட் இன் டு ரியாலிட்டி. தட்ஸ் வேர் விச் வில் பி அன் அட்வான்டேஜ் அஸ் அ ஆர்கிடெக்ட் அண்ட் அ ப்ராஜெக்ட் மேனேஜர். அண்ட் நிறைய நம்ம வெறும் டெக்னிக்கல் டேர்ம்ஸ்னால் நம்ம ஒன்லி காஸ்டிங் அது இதெல்லாம் சொன்னால் பத்தாது. யூ ஆல்சோ ஷுட் பி ஈக்குவலண்ட்லி வெல் வித் ஆல் த டிசிப்ளின்ஸ். ஃபினான்ஷியல் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட்டாக இருக்கணும். இல்லை இப்போ ஒரு ப்ராஜெக்டே வருது, அந்த சைட்டில் வந்து எனக்கு ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் சைட் இருக்குது, அந்த சைட்டில் வந்து எனக்கு இந்த ப்ரொப்போசல் வரணும்னு கிளைண்ட் சொல்லுவாங்க. பட் அஸ் அன் ஆர்கிடெக்ட் ஒரு ப்ராஜெக்ட் மேனேஜராக when you do a site visit பண்ணும்போது we do a feasibility study இல்லைங்களா? அப்போ தெரிஞ்சிடும் இது வந்து இப்போ அவரோட இமீடியட் ரன் மேபி இந்த இடத்துல இந்த ப்ராஜெக்ட் பண்ணால் எனக்கு ஏர்னிங் வரும்னு அவர் ஒரு கால்குலேஷன் சொல்லலாம். பட் டூயிங் த ஸ்டடி யூ மே இன்டர்செப்ட் தட் அந்த பில்டிங் நீங்கள் அங்கே அந்த பில்டிங் பண்ணுறதுக்கு பதிலாக இதே ஒரு டிஃப்ரெண்ட் டைப்பாலஜியாக பண்ணிங்கன்னா, ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஒரு ஹோட்டல் ப்ராஜெக்ட் ஒரு இடத்துல கேட்குறாங்க, அந்த சின்ன ஹோட்டல் அந்த இடத்த விட ஒரு சர்வீஸ் அப்பார்ட்மெண்ட் பண்ணால் அந்த இடத்துல ஒன்றும் பெட்டராக இருக்கும்னு யூ மே எண்ட் அப் வித். ஸோ ஆல் தீஸ் ஆர் த அட்வான்டேஜ் இஃப் யூ டூ அ ப்ராஜெக்ட் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட். ஆஸ் அன் ஆர்கிடெக்ட் அண்ட் ப்ராஜெக்ட் மேனேஜர் you offer a variety of solutions to the clients. Okay. Career opportunities na where like studying a project management is a discipline again. It's a 5-year course, every or foundation course. Ademe project management is also a foundation course where you study about different things. Like for example, understanding of a building service is very very important as an architect, because we may design good buildings, finally on that la vandu building la vandu or pipeline ku vandu apdiye kondu irakkuvaanga. அந்த இடத்துல வந்து இதாகும். அந்த வந்து இன்கார்பரேட்டிங் சர்வீசஸ் இன்டு த பில்டிங் இஸ் ஆல்சோ அன் ஆர்ட், ரைட்? நம்ம வரும் பில்டிங் அழகாக ஒரு ஏஸ்தட்டிக்கலாக கொடுக்குறதோட ஹவு ஃபங்க்ஷனலி ஏஸ்தட்டிக் யூர் ஏபிள் டு அச்சீவ் இட் இஸ் மோஸ்ட் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். ஸோ அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் ஆஃப் சர்வீசஸ் இருக்கணும் அப்படிங்கிறதுனால தான் பேச்சுலர்ஸ்லேயே வந்து சர்வீசஸ் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். பட் அஸ் அ ப்ராஜெக்ட் மேனேஜர் யூ வில் கெட் இன் டு கோர் ஆஃப் இட். ஸோ இப்போ ஒவ்வொரு சர்வீசஸ் இன்டெப்த் படிப்போம், அதே மாதிரி சேஃப்டி மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் ஒரு ஆஸ்பெக்ட் படிப்போம், ரிஸ்க் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட்னு ஒரு ஆஸ்பெக்ட் படிப்போம். அண்ட் யூ ஆல்சோ ஸ்டடி இன் டிஃப்ரெண்ட் ஸ்ட்ரீம்ஸ் ஆஃப் ப்ராஜெக்ட் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் படிக்கும்போது இன்கேஸ் ஃபியூச்சர் யூ வாண்டட் டு மேக் யுவர் செல்ஃப் வாட் பீப்புள் ஹையர் மல்டிநேஷனல் கம்பெனிஸ் ஜென்ரலி தேர் இஸ் they don't look in for just creative architects, they also look in for somebody who is a very good managers also, because ultimately management is a skill which everybody should know, even if you work as an architect, because everybody gone are the days where you work as an individual. It's now a team you have to work with. So as a project manager, this is an advantage where an architect and other discipline comes and a project management degree irukavanga ortha poningna, your level of understanding of site will be totally different from the other person who has done it. ஸோ அவர் வந்து அந்த ஸ்ட்ரீமில் மாத்திரம்தான் இதாக இருப்பாங்க. பட் நீங்கள் ஆஸ் அன் ப்ராஜெக்ட் மேனேஜர் யூ வில் நோ ஆல் த ஸ்ட்ரீம்ஸ். So that's an advantage. So career wise who the employer would prefer is one who knows everything, right? In my students L&T ல place பண்ணவங்க இருக்காங்க. நீங்கள் இன்டீரியர் படிச்சுட்டும் ஜென்ரல் எம்ஆர்க் படிச்சுட்டும் எல்என்டியில் போகிறவங்க டிசைன் ஃபீல்டுக்கு மாத்திரம் தான் போவாங்க. பட் வேர் தே லுக் யூ கேன் ரீப்ளேஸ் அ சிவில் இன்ஜினியர். நம்ம நாட் தட் ஆர்கிடெக்ட்ஸ்னால் நம்ம சிவில் இன்ஜினியரோட ஜாஸ்தி கிடையாது. வி ஷுட் வென் த இன் காம்படிஷன் இஸ் ஸோ டைப் யூ ஹேவ் டு ஃபைட் வித் அன் சிவில் இன்ஜினியர் ஆல்சோ ஃபார் அ பொசிஷன், இல்லைங்களா? அந்த இடத்துல வந்து நீங்கள் அஸ் அன் யூ ஹேவ் அன் ஆடட் அட்வான்டேஜ் ஆஃப் பீங் அன் ஆர்கிடெக்ட் as well as you know how a site works. So you have an advantage there. So to say to define me, what I would say is I'm a sort of more of an empathetical person, and I would like to handle things in a more of ethical and empathetical things. That's what. And I am a very good management consultant rather than being a very creative architect. I would define that me in that way, because I feel as an architect your creativity doesn't stop with just being putting on a, you can be a very good designer putting it in a paper, but actually what we execute at site is totally different. And many architects would have faced this and still are facing this. Like we perceive something and we give it to them, but what has been literally transferred to them is totally different. So there is always a niche there where reality is different from what we conceive. So in that way project management helps me in delivering what I conceive and what the client actually needs. So this is in fact helping me. About my firm, I am Studio One Kaira as a firm. Actually I started my career in from Coimbatore, then later moved on to Bangalore. I worked in some MNCs there, which is all again project management oriented thing. Not in a, I in fact hated doing 24/7 desk jobs. I'm a person who loved to travel right from the beginning. So one reason I loved architecture studying is we tend to do go for a lot of case studies. Obviously all of you agree for that, right? So case studies, and you're always exploring something, which is a very interesting stream, and very few streams are offer that. So basically I'm that person. So I joined wherever I worked, I was in mostly on sites. So then later coming over here, then I came here for my masters to Chennai, and after that then I founded the firm Studio on Kaira. It's a very small firm, not like a big this thing. So we are a couple of people over here, and currently I operate it as a home based studio only. Due to COVID, we have vacated our office and we have moved on to this, and this is being quite comfortable now, because most of the times I will be in travel, I will be moving to the construction sites and different places where our projects are going on, and all of us are got used to this way of working, remote working, and site team is totally different. So this is about us, Studio on Kaira. I also run another startup called DinnoThinker, which is again into design thinking. We teach design thinking. That was during this lockdown time, where most of us didn't know what to do. We had a lot of time to do. So I was doing sort of interiors and all those to some colleges and all those. So why not start something an online mode? So design, I did a course in related to that, and after that I thought, why not start it as an online? Just we pitched it like an online thing, and it's a good thing. We teach design thinking across the globe in an online way. So it helps in we have in a batch, we would have some people from different parts of the world. Some people will be from Ireland, some would be from Dubai, and some from remote places of Tamil Nadu or from India. So it's other interesting startup which we are all currently working in. In fact, all the projects are interesting, we would say, because even within a family we have defined for one family, the personalities are different, right? Each client's needs are different, and each are different person. Everybody are unique, right? So the needs of the clients are also different, and the challenges we face are also different. It's not that as we say, challenges comes in different forms, right? And solutions also are also different. You cannot have a single solution to define a problem and to try to solve it. So that way all the projects are interesting. Some of the interesting we are fortunate to work with. I got an opportunity to work for one of the leading movie people in Chennai. I did completely project management for them. So I got to work with multitudes of people there, like architects were from Mumbai and designers across the globe, and it opened a different wide array of knowledge for me. Like it was a forum where I could learn lots, and it was most interesting and challenging. So that working in that project was it was mentally very tiring and all those, but it was very challenging, because being a woman, I was the only woman there. I used to have days where I had to go early as 5 o'clock, be there in the site, because that's the time they would get ready and go for a shoot. But you had to be there because that's the time they get to meet this thing. So irrespective the architect is present or not, I had to be there, because I would be the one who would be meeting the architects, designers and interacting with them. So as a project management consultant, that's the time we get to interact with the client. So I have worked early mornings, like 5 o'clock I would go for a site meeting, and late nights also sometimes we have to stay back. So depending on the time slot what they get. So it is actually very interesting as well as very challenging too, because that was one of the projects where I handled it on my own, completely on my own. I had to work with different consultants and different contractors there, and you have right from everything, right from scratch. So I was handled wise, and it was interesting. It's not women facing a competition, it's all of us have a competition, because we all know the architecture is a big stream now, and there are challenges not only within the field but also from the other persons who say they are so-called architects, right? So all of us have this challenge. It's not particularly in women. So if a particular project is meant to be for you, definitely it will come for you. If you put your 100% efforts and it's meant for you, and it will definitely come. So that's what I believe. And many, like as I told you, where I was working with that project where I told you. So right now, like 2 days back, I got a call from one of the consultants who has worked with me around 12 years back. So he remembered me, and there is an opportunity where he thought I would be the right person to do a project management. So the opportunities are not that from your it comes to you like it's through the networking. Believe in networking, that is the most important thing what you require. So networking is very crucial, And even the where, as I told you, I'm more of a site person, is to work in the sites. Like it's that we have to maintain a rapport with all the people working there, be it the electrical people or the plumber or whoever is there. So sometimes the projects also come through them. It's not that you get only through your social media contacts or through your other clients. Sometimes the projects also come through them, because they know because they have seen you are the people, and they sometimes become your spokesperson. They speak to others, and I have had projects like that too. So working as a team is very important, and respecting, that's more is important. Like the carrying the tag architect is not a tag which you carry around all the time. We have to be a team player, that is more important. Actually, again, it's not about challenges in site handling. It's also about challenges, I would say challenges in right from, because as I told you, I am a sole entrepreneur, and the Studio One Kaira, we have different rules to that. We don't have, like, sometimes I used to jokingly say, my friends, I am the boss as well as I have to do the office assistant job. It's like that. So there is no thing. We have to do everything right from preparing the drawing to preparing the sense. Even though you have a team to do work, like right from the preparing the schemes, what I'm trying to say, meeting the clients, pitching in for marketing, then preparing the BOQ, and then finally when it goes to execution also. When we go to the site, see, gone are the days where we would say people don't listen to women. It's not like that. I would say it's all in the how you handle it. See, maybe there are things. It's not that it's not women men. It's about that personal what it is. So in a construction site, it's not that they don't listen to women at all. I don't agree to that. Wherever I have worked, there are difficulties, because not that we cannot expect all of them to listen to you. Only thing is, make sure that your point is, if you are very clear with what you have to convey, and genuinely try to hear from others what exactly they want to, what they are trying to say. If it makes many sense, as I told you, like we have to be a team player. Again and again I am saying that we have to be a team player, in the sense you have to talk to the carpenter. Maybe what he tries to say, it would be a more practical thing. As I told you, right, putting it in the paper is different from what we execute. So understand them, what they are trying to say. If it makes sense, it is nothing wrong in accepting that and going it forward. So once they start working, like I have had as projects where I told you some of the projects where we have worked 6-7 years back. Still, when there is a project opportunity, we all work as a team. It's like that we are like a bonding, right? So it's there doesn't think that madam, sir and all. We all know who is what capable of, and we all start working together. So whenever I get an opportunity, I just call over and they come over and start working with us. So it's like that, I would say. That's advantages. There are a lot of advantages. Like I can plan my work. Basically, I need not depend on, like considering practicing in a city like Chennai, where most of your time goes in commutation, right? So you have to travel. So when you work from office, you have, and nowadays with the one good thing about the COVIDers, that lockdowners, we have all understood the power of online meetings. So now even when there is a necessity, like where you have to be there at site, it's not you have to go to the site every time. You can just convey it over a Zoom meeting, because all of us have equipped us with that skill, where you even whoever has, everybody have a smartphone, and you can give instruction and make sure that that has been translated, what you are trying to convey is being understood there. So being in work from home is actually you save on a lot of cost, I would say, because in a small firm, running a firm and the rentals you have to pay, and for the office maintenance, that's huge compared to the what you earn. It takes a substantial amount of your earnings. So but if it is a work from home, it's an advantage where you have the flexibility of timing. Like if I have a time, if I have to go for a meeting in the mornings, I don't have time, I can sit at home and work, right, and send it across through online because thing, and next day your team member is going to see that and start working on that. There is no need for you, the person, to wait for you in the office. You come and go and explain there, and so there is a lot of advantage of working from home, I would say. And disadvantage is that sometimes communication becomes a difficult, which is a bliss, sometimes becomes a disguise also. So sometimes there is a lack of coordination, and sometimes like in the sites especially what you try to convey may not be conveyed properly there. So they would have understood that detail in a different way. There is always an advantage where you go to site and explain what exactly it is, and you also get to know what are the other things happening, like related stuff happening, so you can plan your next work as per that. Here in this way that is not possible. So this I would say the challenges. With the invent of internet and IT, I am speaking about the period where I had graduation. The project management was just an elective. Obviously, I didn't choose that elective.
So we never chose any elective, whatever teacher was available.
Yeah, but I didn't get. We had an elective to choose between project management and something I think urban design or a construct material management, something very easier subject. So I chose to do material management because project management had some problems and all to be done, right? So I thought, why to complicate so much? So let me do a construction equipment management, something like that. There was a subject, so I chose to do that. But project management is actually speaking, it's a much needed skill, and it's not only just for who pursue their higher studies. In fact, it has to be incorporated in the syllabus in such a way that where working with in a site is more important, and it is where you like you go to as a doctor, where does they learn? It's in the operation theatres, it's in the hospital where they, right? Architecture is also a similar field like that. So where the more you start spending time, you go to the construction sites and you start spending time with the technical people there, you will learn a lot of things. So that the project management is such a course that it helps you. So I used to say my students, it's not that learning a project management this thing, even if you there is an interview where just a bachelor's is considered, you have a higher niche. You have a higher niche there among the others, because you know how budgeting is done, how it has to be done in a time, and you also learn like there are how exactly what are the risk management, which is another important thing which everybody had to learn. So all these are part of a project management thing, and it's a most important, I would say it's a very interesting streams. One of the masters course one of the specialization which they offer in a masters, because it's a, as I told you, it's not just for male, it's also for females. Like everybody has to know what happens at the site and how you have to manage your money, manage in the client's budget, how to manage construction. The entire site handling is depends on the success of a project. Is not just beautiful designs or getting the success of project is how well you are able to translate that into a reality. So this is a very important thing which project management helps in. So how the career can be streamlined from this thing is as if you learn project management is, you can not just, you are not just an architect, you are also a project management, which offers like many abroad or jobs where they require, they just don't need a designer, they also or prefer people who also learn project management, who are a very good efficient, who know how to communicate, which is also again a part of how, because handling a site meeting is a, what to say, it's an art. Handling a site meeting is definitely an art, because you have to and the most crucial thing which happens in a site meeting is you have to document everything properly, and you have to, the minutes of meeting which we say is a very important tool, because we never know when the problem will come, or when because there were incidences like where we have to refer to 6 months old minutes of meeting for an issue which has arisen now, or which you predict which may happen now. So documenting it properly, which is, and again I would say as an architect we are all very good designers, but where we lag is we don't document things. Documentation is very, very crucial, because it not just as a project manager, anything you do, communicating, how will you maintain your communication with the client? It's like sending an email. Whether the client reads it or not is not a thing. Later when you want as a reference, you can pitch in from that, because we are not good at writing it, we write in some scribble book and we throw it off somewhere. So it's like we do a sketch and we throw, but if you start documenting it and you put it in a organized way, it helps you in a long run. So as a project management, you have a lot of, if you have a master's in project management, the scope, the opportunities, career prospects after you complete your project management much, because you also can pitch into real estate, which is advisory. Real estate advisory is another stream where it's a huge demand is there, because you are good at your numbers, you know how to do a feasibility study, you know how to do a BOQ, you also know how to track whether it is working on time or not, which are really very crucial things. So you you can also go into real estate advisory, or you can also go into, some people there are like there is a part of the curriculum, you are supposed to do a dissertation and a thesis in the final year. There are people who are done safety, which is not a which is a very important thing in abroad, but it's still coping up in our country. So the way you, as an, some people, there are such chances you can also graduate as a, you can enhance your skills, and you can also become an and again services again is a part of a stream where you have to learn all this mechanical, electric, plumbing, AC, because only if you know what exactly it is, at least to think, you will be able to understand what the other people is saying as a consultant. You need not blindly go with what they say. You may be right or they may be right, but that requires level of understanding. But if you are good at your services, that's the reason even in the bachelors they have a, specifically every semester they give importance to services to be learned, because services are like a veins and your like your circle, like it's like very important for your thing. So services understanding is also a part of this. So you can I don't think there are many who are very architects are good at MEP. Probably we know the technology, but we may not know the thing, correct, the real thing. So you can also venture out into it. Then lots of scope of, as an, even if you go for a architect thing, just as in where there is an interview only and architects are being looked at, there you have a niche over there, because you know how exactly a site works and what are the important thing you have to handle at site. So you have an advantage over an civil engineer also, you have an advantage over an architect also. First year is CPM students vandone, what we say is switch off your forget. But sometimes they get carried into too much into it. They think like an engineer. There I say, and like HVAC in depth poiduvanga, plumbing in depth. I say no, don't go in depth. What your level of understanding, still you are an architect mind only. Where it is required to be switched on, you have to get switched on. You have to draw a balance exactly between. You have to you cannot be an wherever requires, like that is a challenge which I faced in many of my construction projects also. Like where there will be an architect, there will be a designer, where I do only exclusive. I do projects where there is exclusive project management and there is exclusively cost consultancy also. Okay, such cases we have to draw a line. Like you are not an architect here, you are a project management consultant here, PMC consultant here, and you should never cross into that line. நம்மளே கோட போட்டு நம்மளே அழிக்க கூடாது. So that is the guideline which you have to follow.
The thought process inside us is like keep on saying
இல்ல அவர் சொல்ற டீடைல் ஐயோ இது ஒர்க் ஆகாதே, ஆமா இதுக்கு இப்படி ஆல்டர், ஏன்னா we are trained for that, right? So undoing things, unlearning things and start doing is very very difficult. That's one of the challenges personally as I face. It's not challenges in the side. As a person personally, and the switching of the role of an architect will be a difficult thing which it,
but one person have to
correct,
handle two of them.
Correct. ஏன்னா ஆர்கிடெக்ட் வந்து வேற ஒருத்தங்க அப்படிங்கிறப்போ அந்த லைன் நம்ம கிளியராக இருக்கும். இன்டீரியர் அவங்க டிசைன் ஐடியா சொல்லும்போது we have to just be a listener, we are a part of the team, அவ்வளோதான். நம்ம வந்து அங்கே வந்து நாமளும் ஆர்கிடெக்ட் அப்படிங்கிறது ப்ரூவ் பண்ண ட்ரை பண்ணோம்னா இட்ஸ் நாட் கோயிங் டு ஒர்க். ஸோ ஆமாம்மா எவ்ரிபடி ஹேவ் டு ஆமாம்மா குரூப் ஒர்க் பண்ணுற மாதிரி இருக்கு. அப்புறம் வந்து அங்கே வந்து ஈகோ ஆமாம் கான்ஃப்ளிக்ட் ஆஃப் ஐடியாஸ் வந்துடும் அதெல்லாம். ஸோ வேர் யூ ஹேவ் ஒன் அண்ட் ஸோ ஐ ட்ரை டு மெயின்டைன் தட் லைன். So that's the reason many of my, like some of the architects whom I worked with 10-12 years back, they call and give me projects now, because
they know, like,
correct,
how to handle things.
ஏன்னா there is no overdoing also, there is no underdoing also. Like அவங்களுக்கு ஒரு இது இருக்கும், இன்னொரு ஆர்கிடெக்ட் வந்து ப்ராஜெக்ட் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் ஆனால் நம்மளோட ப்ராஜெக்ட் நம்மளை விட்டு போயிருமே. இட்ஸ் நாட் தட் வே. ஸோ ஐ ஆல்வேஸ் பிலீவ் டீம் ஒர்க்னா டீம் ஒர்க் தான். கிளைண்ட்டே வந்து நீங்கள் பண்ணி கொடுங்கன்னு கேட்டாலும் பண்ணக்கூடாது. as ethically you should not do it. As a project manager, you should never do that. Ethical practices, if you are have an architect, they have a designer there, and the client comes and asks, no, can you do that architectural work also? I will say no, because that is not ethics. As Do You Know Thinker is a startup where exclusively we offer design thinking and allied courses, and not just design thinking. The 5-stage process, right? We teach. We also where empathize, ideate, where you develop your ideas and then you test it. That 5-stage process alone we teach it. We also club it with different interesting sessions where, as I told you, it's an online thing. So we have a batch where we take only 10 in a batch, and they are from different parts of the globe, like some people would be from Dubai, some people would be from Singapore, and some from the rural parts of India. So it has been designed, and the curriculum is being designed in such a way that along with design thinking, the second half of the session we would be teaching them one interesting session we always teach in a level 1, that is for the younger children, younger minds, is we have a session on heritage, where we teach them about heritage of India, because there are NRI children, they may know about general heritage, but Keeladi, they might not have heard about the term Keeladi, right? So we teach them about how rich is our culture and why it is necessary, and it's like not that it's a one-way communication, where the children also talk to us back, and they say is how we have to preserve your heritage. So we have an exclusive session on heritage. We also have an exclusive session where on photography, because photography is another interesting thing where they learn a lot of visual and all those. So we also teach photography. We also teach entrepreneurship. So we also teach robotics, because design thinking is one term where it is applicable to all the streams, irrespective of it is not only for technical team, it's also for any stream. Social, if there is a social problem which you have to solve, design thinking is a tool where you can use it, because it's always the 5-step process. If you do the 5-step process and and it works as a thing, and that solution, whichever is the best solution, may be the one which is suitable for the thing. It starts with identifying the exact problem, where most of us lag is irrespective. We don't understand the need of some projects have failed because where we fail to understand the exact requirement of the client. So as an architect, how this design thinking is helping is another way is I spend a lot of time with the clients before the finalizing the plan, because each one of them have a different ideas, because especially residential projects, because Kanavu Illam, right, where everybody have their own thing, and it's a place where they will be memories, where they build their memories around. Like if you ask anybody which is your most favorite place, automatically there will be a space in your house where you would say that place is most interesting, more attached to me, because you have an emotional bond with it. So especially visiting, designing a residence, we spend a lot of time with the clients, we sit with them, we understand the requirements, and then we start working the projects. So that way our design thinking is one way where the same process, if we right from identifying the exact root cause of the problem and giving the most suitable solution. So it has to be a mindset which has to be inculcated in the young minds, because once you know how to, it not only helps in a professional level as a student, like tomorrow when whatever academic they know, it's a personal level also. Like maybe nowadays see a lot of things, you know. So it gives a sort of retrospect analysis among yourself. I would say do your internship properly. That is the biggest thing, because why we have an internship in an UG is you have to work in an architect office to learn how it, because how much of hours we spend in a studio teaching them the construction techniques or whatever it is, only in an architect office in the internship they will learn how reality it works. So do your, I would suggest do your internship with how you really handle a project across. And the other one suggestion is they all have very good understanding. The young people over here, the students, right, they all have a very good understanding. Only what they lag is they lag a deeper understanding. The நுனிப்புல் மேய்வது அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்கல்ல, அந்த இதை விட்டுட்டு they all have to go into a deeper context, because learning in depth is something different, and which you will eventually help you in your construction whatever field, architecture, even if you start being only a designer also, whatever stream whichever you choose to become after architecture, learning in depth, which is the most crucial tool everybody had to follow.